Okay, so the Sickos committee, who are the most dedicated fans of the game, they will watch Pac-12 After Dark, rest in peace, until 11 p.m. Pacific time, which is 2 a.m. Eastern time. They'll watch that. They created an NCAA Dynasty tiers list, and I printed it out so I could talk about it while some highlights play right, right there, right there, right, right there. And then after all this, I'm going to tell you what my Dynasty team is going to be next week on the on Thursday, the 18th at 9 p.m. I'm going to play NCAA or College Football 25. Okay, so the tier list, we've got long-term project tier, and in that tier is University of Louisiana Monroe, Akron, Kent State, Sam Houston, UTEP, University of Texas El Paso, the New Mexico Aggies, New Mexico State Aggies, Kennesaw State, not the expert did that one, UMass, Connecticut, Temple, Charlotte, Tulsa, Florida International, New Mexico Lobos, and Nevada. So these are the ones if you want the biggest challenge. I think the biggest challenge would probably, out of these ones, probably Sam Houston State. One of the YouTubers did Kennesaw State, and he got a 5-star recruit, but that's because he could win with them. But these are the worst teams in the game. So on to the next one. We're on to the Sickos Fun Project here, and that's kind of where I live. That's kind of where I live. We got Jacksonville State, Rice, Western Kentucky, UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, the Blazers. Go Blazers! Utah State Aggies, San Diego State Spartans, the Georgia State Panthers, Florida Atlantic, UNLV, Bowling Green, Ohio, Middle Tennessee State, no, that's Miami of Ohio. Sorry, I'm getting this all mixed up. These are pretty much all MAC teams here. We got Texas State, Ball State, um, Alabama State. I can't remember which one this. It's a Panther. We got Marshall, Old Dominion, Georgia Southern, Southern Miss, North Texas, and Northern Illinois. So these are a little bit better. There's a whole conference of teams in here. We get the MAC in here. Just a few projects that would be fun. So we got the Find Them a New Home tier. And in that tier, we've got the Beavers of Oregon State, Washington State Cougars, Memphis, Tulane, University of Texas San Antonio, the Roadrunners. We got App State, Giant Killer App State, San Diego State, Fresno State, Hawaii, Toledo, James Madison, University of South Florida Bulls, Troy Trojans, and the ECU, Eastern Carolina Pirates. These are ones that are on the cusp of being in a better division, and you can move them to a new division if you'd like. I've got a plan for the Beavers and the Cougars myself. So then they made some really quick ones here, really small ones. The troops tier. This is Army, Navy, Air Force. This is if you want to just run the ball, and I don't find that fun. It's hard to recruit. I don't know how it's going to be hard to recruit in the year. It's just a video game, so I feel like it would be just similar to recruiting in any other game. We got the Sickos National Champs tier, which is Iowa, punting team of the year, and Nebraska. These guys are the Sickos National Champs, which is a voting. The Sickos committee puts out a vote for everybody to decide who are the Sickos National Champions. These are disgustingly awesome college football fans. And we have the Snow Games tier. We got Colorado State, Wyoming. I am not sure what that W is. I'm going to have to figure that out. CMU, Central Michigan, and UB. I'm not sure what that one is either. I know most of these logos off the top of my head, but those two are just throwing me. I considered doing Wyoming for a bit, but then I decided to change gears. They got the colored turf tier. That's Eastern Michigan, Boise State, and Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. So Eastern Michigan has a gray field, Boise State has a blue field, and Coastal Carolina has a teal field. And they're not in this game, but Eastern Washington has a red field, and I've touched it. So we got now the fun but here due to rivalry, Louisiana Tech, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, and I assume that's the Arkansas State Red Wolves. I think that's just because I'm really not sure. Okay, we're almost through this thing, I think. There's a lot of tiers. You like medium salsa Sickos P4 grab bag tier. So these are power four teams that are kind of like good, but not that good. So we've got Baylor, Texas Tech, Houston, Syracuse. I did them as a dynasty in NCAA Football 12. Pitt, Panthers, Stanford Cardinal, the Purdue Boilermakers, Rutgers, Iowa State Cyclones, Northwestern, Georgia Tech, SMU of the ACC, Cal of the ACC, Kansas, Maryland, NC State, Minnesota, Illinois, Wake Forest. Played with them in NCAA 14. I was considering it for this one, but I wanted to go a little bit lower. Virginia, um, Arizona State, Indiana, South Carolina Gamecocks. Got Boston College, Vanderbilt, Michigan State, Mississippi State, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Kansas State, Arizona, Missouri, and TCU. These are all teams that are reasonable options because they can easily be taken from one level to the next level. Insert online opinion tier. It's just Colorado. It's just Colorado. Just the Buffaloes. They've got the highest rated quarterback in the game, Shadur Sanders, which we can debate all we want about how good Shadur is, but we'll find out later in the season. It's just Colorado gets a lot of attention, obviously. So next we got the probably you probably went here, family did or live there tier. We got Miami, the U, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Louisville, BYU, University of Central Florida, Wisconsin, Duke, UCLA, University of Kentucky, Cincinnati, and Arkansas Razorbacks. So these are all teams that have been good in the past, but they're not very good right now. But if you root for them, you're probably going to play as them. And then the final tier are the teams that it's like taking the best teams in any video game, and it's a terrible idea because you're just making the good better. Louisiana State, LSU, Alabama, Auburn, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Texas, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Clemson, Florida State, Ole Miss, Utah, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, USC, Washington, Oregon, Notre Dame, and Liberty. Liberty's not a good team, but these are the teams that you want to beat in the game. And finally, the next tier, we've got, I believe this is Delaware Blue Hens and then Missouri State. Yes, Missouri State, that's what it says. So those are all the teams in the game, tier listed. Look at this tier maker. Top notch. Love this stuff. That's all over there. All right. So now that we've gone through all the teams, the tiers, I am going to announce the team that I'll be playing as next Thursday. Drum roll, please. It is The UNLV Running Rebels. This will be my Dynasty team. The reason why I'm choosing them over my favorite team, the Oregon Ducks, is because number one, the Ducks are going to be really good in the game, and I want to start at a lower level. I chose UNLV because I went to Las Vegas and I went to a basketball game, and I fell in love with just the whole environment, and I just want to see what I can do with this team, what the new college football game will allow you to do, how I can bring them to prominence, and maybe I'll bring UNLV into the new Pac 14. So be on the lookout for that one. UNLV with Coach Air Weldon right here. Some teams I considered Syracuse, I considered Wake Forest, um, considered a lot of mid-tier teams. Not, not. I didn't consider Ohio State at all. I hate Ohio State. Didn't consider Oregon State. I don't really like playing as Oregon State. I want to be somebody different every time. And there. Oh, I considered Memphis at one point, but then I decided not to do that. But I'm really glad I picked UNLV, and I hope you guys like it as well. All right, let's